So on the hit list on kmfm, I am joined by Aloe Blacc. How are you?
Very good. How you doing?
I am very, very good, thank you. Welcome back to the UK.
Happy to be back.
And we need to talk about, well, firstly, we're going to talk about your new single, which we are obsessed with in a bit. But firstly, we need to talk about the fact you're behind so many massive tracks like I Need $1, The Man, Wake Me Up, now Brooklyn in the Summer. When you're in the studio, kind of, how do you know when you've hit gold? How do you know when you've got a good one?
I like to bring as many little tiny leprechauns into the studio with me. And as I'm making music, if they do a happy dance, I know that it's going to be a hit. So then I release that one and collect all of the gold at the end of the rainbow.
I mean, it sounds like a foolproof plan. How many leprechauns are there?
There's only 7. You didn't know?
No, because I haven't seen. I know for most artists they bring in about 5 or 6.
I don't know where they're getting them from. They're stealing them from me.
Obviously, you've got a bit of a bigger focus group, and you can obviously, like most artists, you can remember all of the leprechauns' names, can't you? All 7 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Ronaldo.
Yes, of course.
Smith. Fezzington.
Okay.
Hapnothel.
Good.
He's a bit of a Netherlands kind of guy.
He worked with T-Pain on his last album, didn't he?
Wait, T-Pain did do a kind of a leprechaun thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
T-Pain's one of them, actually. He would be number 5.
I did hear he's branching out into other things now.
There is also a Smith 2 and a Will. So there's a Will, a Smith, and a Smith 2.
I'm not going to ask you to repeat all of those again because I can imagine you get asked this. Okay, yeah. And don't forget T-Pain. T-Pain's in the studio now.
I'm destroying your interview. Okay, so when I get in the studio, look, the goal is to make the best song possible. It really is. Like, I walk in the studio with ideas. I Need $1 was an idea I walked in the studio with, and it worked for the jam session that we made that day. The Man was an idea I had for, I don't know how long I had it. I always wanted to sample the Elton John, You Can Tell Everybody lyric. But when I told my wife that I wanted to follow it with I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man, she was like, that's a terrible idea. Nobody's going to like that song. You're going to ruin your career. And she was absolutely wrong. So for all the husbands out there, just understand that we won one.
Okay.
For all of us. And then, Wake Me Up was an idea I had in my notebook. And I walked into a session with Avicii and Mike Einziger, and Mike was playing this guitar riff, and I sang these lyrics, and it just fit. It fit really, really well. It felt good, and we recorded that day, and a couple weeks later Avicii gave us the mix.
And that song was like everywhere. Is there any way that you kind of test it out? Like, do you have a car test where you kind of burn it to a CD, stick it on your phone, put it on the aux cable and just drive around, or do you have something similar to that?
Man, for sure, back in the day there was the CD test and the car and driving around. I have everything on my phone. It's embarrassing. My phone is just full of half-written songs and half-recorded songs and demos and almost fully produced versions of songs. And I just drive around and listen to stuff until I can finish something. I come up with ideas and I want to change things. There are so many lyrics in songs that I've released that I want to change, but it's too late. I either met the deadline or I just didn't think of the best line until way after.
I suppose that's always the case. I suppose you always need a cut-off point, otherwise it's just going to be nothing will ever be finished, will it? Like, how would you ever know when a song is finished?
There is no finish for a song. It's just a deadline, and then you give it to the world and the world will finish it for you.
That's deep. Out of everything that's kind of happened to you in your career so far, what's been sort of the biggest wow moment for you, the moment where you've had to take a step back and be like, is this real life?
There's been a few. I think the first one was right here in England. I did the show Jules Holland. Who was on that show? Elvis Costello, the Black Keys, Neil Diamond.
What a lineup.
Cooper. And then as I'm singing I Need $1 and I'm getting my groove on, I look across and Sir Paul McCartney's dancing. I was like, yep, this is it. I've made it.
Is that an added pressure knowing that there's an actual Beatle watching you?
My goodness. Just to know that he had a smile on his face and he enjoyed it, that was confirmation.
And also you got nominated for a Grammy. Were you at the ceremony?
Yeah, I've been to a few of the ceremonies. I went to, mine wasn't the televised one. I was in the R&B category, and maybe R&B wasn't popular enough that year to make it to the televised announcements, but I go every so often. I try to make it to the show. It's a good show to go to.
Have you ever picked up one of the infamous goodie bags, the Grammy goodie bags?
I'm sure I have. There's always something interesting. Every year there's a Bluetooth speaker. That's for sure. There's an external battery to charge your phone.
Yes, standard.
There's some sort of facial care product like lotion or makeup for women or shaving cream for men. Maybe I'm getting the wrong bag. I'm not getting like the $20,000 watches or the...
Yeah, because you always hear about those, don't you? You always hear about, the holidays away.
I'm definitely getting the wrong bag.
And then you whip open your bag.
I think I need a few more hits. Or either that or I need to just be a little bit more controversial.
Or maybe you need to get there earlier. Maybe there's like 10 bags at the beginning and then you turn up when all the Bluetooth ones are coming out and there's another batch.
I'm going to send my Leprechauns. I'll send my Leprechauns again.
And then somebody who comes up an hour after you gets like a business card and like a sweet or something along that. On top of all the music, you also worked on a documentary called America's Musical Journey, which was voiced by actual Morgan Freeman, which is a big signing in itself. Did you get to meet him?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I went in to do my voiceover and in passing, I got a chance to meet him. I'm hoping that one day I will be able to retire into a healthy career of voiceover so that I can announce all of your upcoming films and your prescription medications.
It's always good to have a career backup plan. What's Morgan Freeman like when you met him? Were you kind of awestruck?
He was very gentle, quiet guy. Definitely awestruck, but it was such a brief meeting that, it was kind of a hello and how you doing? Pleasure to meet you, and off into the studio to record my part.
So have you got Morgan Freeman's phone number in your address book?
No, I don't. But I have, I've got Tiesto's because I've just spent some time with him. We did a big dedication to Avicii at the Electric Daisy Carnival. I got invited to go and perform at Montreal Jazz Festival by the one and only Quincy Jones. He sent me a email to ask me to come play. So that was pretty cool. Quincy Jones is one of my heroes.
Yeah, that's amazing. An amazing person to have in your address book as well. So you've never accidentally like drunk emailed him, just been after a night out, you've been like, all right, Quincy.
Not for nothing. I don't do nights out, but I heard Quincy's still a party guy. So he's more likely to drunk text me.
Okay, well, when that happens, you need to tweet about it just so everybody knows, because that would be monumental.
Screenshot for sure.
Exactly. Let's chat about your new single, Brooklyn in the Summer. It's out now. We've been playing it for a while. It sounds so good. It's a perfect summer anthem, in my opinion. How did that track come about?
Wow. Well, I've been writing a lot of different music for this project, for this next album. Brooklyn in the Summer is a song that I co-wrote with Jay Stolar, who's a singer-songwriter from Brooklyn, who had this 10-year relationship and he broke up. And this song comes from that experience. It's kind of a heart-wrenching story, but the way that we ended up putting the song together, it feels a little bit more pleasant and jovial than the real bitter heartbreak. It's got a real classic feel, though. It feels really good to me.
Did you do the car test for this one? Because I was going to say it's a perfect driving anthem, like windows down, sun out, which we don't get that much of in the UK. But did you do the car test when you wrote Brooklyn in the Summer and recorded it?
Yeah, this one was more of a gut check. Like, it just felt so dope when we were putting it together. The major part that I wrote was the bridge, and there's this kind of real intricate tongue flipping triplet style that reminds me of my hip hop days. And I think, once I had the opportunity to add that to the track, I felt like, this got to come out. It's got to come out now because nobody's really killing it like this. This is the best song in the world. You know what? They should stop playing anything else on the radio and only play this song.
I'll go to my boss and ask for that, but I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong, amazing song, but I'm not entirely sure that will go down that well. But we'll do it like once every 1.5 hours. Does that work?
From your lips to God's ears and my pocketbook.
What we like to do with a lot of new tracks when somebody's on the show, this might sound mad at first, so hear me out. What's the serving suggestion for Brooklyn in the Summer? So if somebody's listening to Brooklyn in the Summer for the first time, I'm about to hit play on it, kind of who should they be with, where should they be, and what should they be doing?
First time you hear Brooklyn in the Summer, you should be at the pool with your significant other or your side piece, and you should be blasting the music from the biggest pair of speakers that you have available, so that your neighbors get upset, because I didn't really mention the time of day, but this should be 2 a.m.
Okay.
in the summer.
So we've got to wait a few hours now before we hit play on Brooklyn in the Summer, make the show stretch out a little bit longer. Thank you so much for coming on the show and hanging out.
Thank you.
And I'm going to hit play on Brooklyn in the Summer on kmfm now. Can I get you to introduce it, please?
With or without your side piece. This is Aloe Blacc and my new single, Brooklyn in the Summer.